Thank you, Dr. Shugbamu. It's been a wonderful time to be a partaker in this workshop. I've learned so much, and I will just highlight a few of the my thoughts about what I learned from here. One thing, the key thing here is that there's need for environmental evidence. So from now, I've learned that we have a program in my department. It's called Masters in Environmental Management, and I supervise students, at least 6 or 7 students every year. So now onward, if for them to start normally I tell them to write their research proposals, but going forward, I will have to send them to relevant agencies to ask for questions that are waiting for answers, problems that need solution to be solved via their projects. So, and there's no point replicating what has been done already. So going forward, I will make sure that my supervision of projects in environmental management is an evidence-based research. Then also I'll put the idea to my department, the committee of postgraduate teachers teaching this course, that we should be inviting people from the government agencies and policy makers to teach maybe a day or half a day to teach our students and give them the experience, the field experience that they need to teach our students. Then also finally, so I won't take the whole of the time, the technical working group that have been formed, I'm so happy with that because it's a very easy way to collaborate from different universities, government agencies, and different disciplines. And going forward, we are planning that we'll meet as a group and design a project that will be evidence-based, and will make, that will be a major output of this workshop that we have done. So once again, thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you, Dr. Shugbamu. The one important learning outcome from this for me is the use of evidence in policy making, in decision making, because there are times that you need politicians and decision makers need information, data, and what has been done, to work on, to take decision, to weigh action. Okay, which one should they do first? It helps to make decision, and this is very, very critical in what we do in the Lagos State Ministry of Environment for us. So collaborating with researchers and other stakeholders is very, very important for us, especially in the field of biodiversity, and something that we are looking to do now in the conservation and ecology department. So I see it as an opportunity, and an opportunity to learn and be able to apply all these things that we have learned here. Also, the meta-analysis, I'm very much interested. It's a new field for us, and how we can actually implement this in decision making, in policy making as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Dr. Shugbamu, for this experience that you afforded each and every one of us. Few things that I have as feedback is due to this experience I've just had for the past 5 days, I've been able to understand that it's key to know how to communicate our research findings. That is, we need to fix our audiences and be sure who is listening to us. And not only that they're hearing, but they must be listening to us. So it's key for us to know the path of information dissemination, and also to use the appropriate language to ensure that our audiences are not only hearing us, but they're listening and they can come to terms of what we have to present to them as evidences that will shaping the policies that we want to see some changes in. Also, the fact that in communication, we need to be brief in what we're submitting, brevity. They don't have time, according to what we've learned so far. So we need to be succinct and very precise in communicating our findings to them. Also, timeliness, issues come and go, but then what are the issues that are at the front burner? Because the moment you know that, then it could help us to put forward the issues that will be of interest to our audience. So that's also very important. What is the trend? Then what problem are we solving? Is it what we have as prevalent this season, or is it what they would get from us and they would end up putting in the show, keep in view? So that is also key. Then it's also important for us not to work in isolation. We should ensure that we work in a collaborative way with policymakers, with influencers, and persons that are in the research industry, and also very, very key also the media. It's very important for us to work with the media. Also, the place of systematic review is key and very important in gathering evidence. That is writing up the policy that the policy papers that we need to put forward, so that we would have a meeting point for every key player on this assignment. So on this note, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to have spent us 5 days productively in this workshop. Thank you so much.
Okay. For me, the 5 days has been enriching. I've enjoyed myself. It has showed me that the media needs to do more. From the introductions, especially from the researchers, I saw that a lot of people are working in areas where the media is interested in, because these are issues in our communities that the media will need to work on. So for me, it's something that I think taking home. And from also the discussion, I've also observed that there is a dichotomy. The researchers are on one side, the policymakers are on one side. We are not bridging the gap. And the media is one platform that could also help to bridge that gap. So for me, that's one area I think we need to push forward. I think also moving forward, I think the researcher also needs to be available, because that's sometimes the issues the media have. And I give you one example. Before now, I think the challenge started about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. If you go, there is a website of the University of Lagos where you could get the profile of each lecturer in each department with their contact, with their email and phone number. But suddenly that site went off. Before that site went off, anytime I'm doing a story, I can easily go to the site, look at a lecturer that can speak to the issue I'm working on and get their input. But now that is not available. So for me, I think the researchers need to make themselves more available going forward. But all in all, from the day one, what I can take is that it's just that the problems are there. People who could solve the problem are available, or just that we're not bridging the gap between the policymakers and the researchers.
I just would like to say that this workshop again is a very good one, and it actually met my expectation for being here, being part of the inception. Actually, so I know what we should expect, but this one is even more mind-blowing, really, being part of it. Right from the beginning, of the workshop, it has been a learning experience for me, really. Well, one thing that is very important that I will say I take away here has to do with visibility. Of course, I try to do that. Sometimes we think that our work or publication should give us visibility, but I think it goes beyond that. We need to begin to, like Mr. Salau has already said, we need to do things like op-ed. We need to communicate more with the media. We need to make friends with the media, if I want to put it that way. Make friends with the media. We have friends, but sometimes we don't make use of them. So we need to begin to do that more now, seek to understand from their own point of view. The same thing with policymaker. You know, we seek to understand, stand in the point of view of the policymaker and really understand their problem so that they can also come and understand our own aspect of the problem. So basically that. And then in terms of application, what I started doing was that even some of the materials that have been sent to us, I've sent it on my other research clusters that I have. And so I started sharing with people. The reason for doing that is so that we'll go back to it. And I told them, engage with this document. Let us form discussion around it. So that's what I'm trying to do, trying to also bring other people to see if I can start doing some small training myself, so as to remind myself what we have learned. So I've started doing that gradually, and then the discussion will continue, not even really physical. We've been doing meetings on Zoom for a while now. So we'll be doing that also on Zoom. So those are some of the things that I have been learning. And I'll begin to learn more on how to engage policymaker from Dr. Shugbamu. She's a guru there now for me now. So I know she's a go-to person that I can always call upon. So I'm not afraid to do that. And it has been, all in all, it has been a very good experience, for me. Thank you very much.
I learned in this workshop, collaboration is very important. You cannot do it alone. You need other people. And as researchers, you know, you have to liaise with the policymakers to sort of design your research, because the research, what I've learned is that research is not just for promotion like you've been saying, but it's for problem solving. What is the problem in this area? What this policy? What do we want to actually achieve? What is the what we want to achieve, like I just said, yes. So, and the other thing I learned also is that in collaboration, you have to also know who your audiences are. You have to know people who can actually influence the policy. And you have to also bring on board the people who the policy is for. Like the example that was given about the Switzerland thing. So when you do that, the people that the policy is for, they will buy into the policy, they will own it, and you won't need a lot of enforcement. You don't need to run around pursuing them before they actually do what the policy is talking about. The other thing I learned about from this is communication. Communication is key, especially when you're communicating with policymakers and with politicians. You have to put it in a language that they understand and make it brief. You know, because you synthesize maybe a 10-page whatever to 1 page that they can quickly go over, bullet points or short sentences that they can quickly go over, and they get the gist of the whole thing. And apart from that, yesterday's session was very, very, very enlightening for me. This systematic review, I'm really very much interested in it. In our work with, we do environmental impact assessments and environmental studies. So from now, it's like you look at more reports. Don't just take 1 or 2 reports to do your literature review. You know, go and take a lot more. You know, that way you will know exactly what the issue is that you are facing, or what the environment actually has been over a period of time. And if there is a change, why is there a change? And so on and so forth. So I'm very, very grateful to you, Dr. Shugbamu. I appreciate you. I appreciate your team. It's been a wonderful 5 days. Thank you very much.
I had a very great time during this workshop, and I learned a lot. These are the key things I learned. You have to build relationships, manage your relationships. Then when you're going to conduct a research, you conduct demand-driven research, then have a collaborative team that will cut across the policymakers, researchers, academia, and industry. So whenever you get your research result, it will be what it is needed. And when you're communicating your research finding, you make the language appropriate to the audience. So if you're communicating it to our usual conferences, okay, you use your jargon. But if you're communicating it to the users, policymakers, or to maybe like I am in oceanographic research, and I work with fishermen. If I want to talk to fishermen, I have to bring it down to their language. If possible, call an interpreter that would talk to them in their own language so they will be able to understand what we are talking about. And I appreciate you, Dr. T, for this, and I appreciate everybody that has contributed in making this workshop a wonderful time. And I hope we'll keep the network open and we'll work together. Thank you so much.
I want to appreciate this opportunity given to us from Federal Ministry of Environment to partake in this training. It is an eye-opening training that it has, opened my eyes to a lot of things when it comes to decision-making process. And from day one, the presentation of Professor Dedeke, in fact, it has set the ball rolling, and I learned a lot about processing, policy process, how to, relate with politicians. Like for me, I usually don't like listening to them. I feel these people are just there. They are just there. So, but with this training, it has opened my eyes that we need these politicians, especially those at the National Assembly, to push these our laws or policies that we make as policy makers. And it also opened my eyes that we as policy makers, we should be able to make known our problems that we need to make policies on to the researchers, so that that collaboration of solving our problems through evidence-based information given from the researchers will be able to inform the decisions that we take. We shouldn't just take decisions outside what is happening within our country, and we should just import policies or standards or regulations from other countries to come and make use of them here. So, and the one that really excites me most is the systematic review of yesterday as well. It also opened my eyes, and like I have made a suggestion, but it's in the form of a question. If in trying to reverse a policy that has been in existence, if we can do a systematic review of the policies that we have on ground, so that we'll be able to synthesize it and come up with a reverse policy that is very, very good and of high quality. And also I've also learned about stakeholder engagement, whereby every stakeholder should be carried along in the process of making policies. We shouldn't just look at some as being irrelevant. Everybody should be carried along, and this will be done when you identify who are the stakeholders, who will this policy influence, who will it affect, who will bring about the policy, who will even help in the implementation of the policy. So this is, in fact, and so many, I've learned a lot. I don't even know how to summarize it. It's so much that I have learned. And what I have penciled down for myself to go and do in my office is, we have so many sectors in my department. We have a chemicals management department, we have environmental health, we have solid waste, we have marine and what do you call it? Marine contamination cleanup, and we have hazardous waste management. So what I have penciled down for myself is, when I get back to my office, I will call my officers, and then we will now try and collate different policies from different ministries that has to do either, let's say, with solid waste, and let us see how we can come up with initiative that will help in solid waste. and we'll do same in either chemicals management or hazardous waste or even environmental health. I've penciled that for myself, and I will see how I will use that. And I will get it back to you, Dr. Shogbamu, to please help me in carrying out this. Let me see how I can also be mentored by you to initiate this small idea that has dropped. Thank you very much, and God bless you for this opportunity.
Yeah.
Learn the value of networking and relating with researchers and other people and not. I hope you are seeing me.
No, it's okay. Please bear with him. I think it might be the background. Or if you feel comfortable just going back to stop the video, then that's fine.
Yeah. Is it possible for you to turn towards the light?
Okay.
Is it possible for you to turn towards the light?
I think the lighting is January 4. Okay.
So we can't.
I'm in the lab.
Oh, he is in the lab. So yeah, I don't think the lighting is so good there. Please go ahead, sir. Yeah.
Okay. I've also seen a kind of hidden curriculum in all the things we're doing. The power of dialogue. So we call it collaboration with politicians. I'm seeing a lot of dialogue. I've learned a lot of skill to dialogue with people I would have been confronting without results all this while. And the reason to actually channel my research to meaningful works. So if I have a passion to actually impact my environment, I will know that it does not end in Elsevier and promotion. I mean, my mind has been open to the real reason why I am working where I am. That research is not just for publication and off I go, earn the certificates and hit the street thinking I've made it. But if Elsevier does not translate to Alaroye magazine, that it is very complete. Now, Elsevier and Alaroye magazine are far apart. I discovered in this conference that they can actually work together. We might look down on one and look up at the other, especially the foreign ones. So I've been able to see what I can actually do. And I have a lot of interest in some of the technical. I think I've already mentioned it. This is private. You know, in the universities, policies are also made. In private firms, they also make their own policies. So I now realize that it's not only the government that we can actually be pursuing government policies. Do you know that families also make policies? They agree, and some of these research findings and evidences can influence private individuals. So, for example, I saw something on the video, I never saw it in any research paper before. How people in Kenya and Uganda are converting waste and sand to something of added value that they can make money with. I don't need to wait for the government to start doing this if I want to do it, or if I want to empower somebody. If those resources are available, I start actually looking for the waste and not find them again. If you discover that this is of value, I got it not from research paper, I got it from YouTube, social media, and all those things. So that's why I actually wanted to see those people. I want to know the technical details. There's still some other information that I don't have. But my interest has been sharpened by what I saw. So I now realize the value of some of these things. Some will fire your appetite, the other will give you the right information for you to make a success. So I'm really encouraged and blessed. It's not about even the country policy, even on a personal note. If I want to maybe impact my neighbor, if I want to help my neighbor out, this program is actually what needed, apart from the other things, collaboration, moving forward, learning more. So I think I'm in for a long haul. I really want to learn more. Thank you.
To quantify the amount of knowledge and information gained with this group, wonderful group of people the facilitators, the participants, the advisors. I cannot thank you enough. From here now, I understand that research is not just only going to the lab, do your publications, and get your promotion. The result, if they want to use it, let them use it. If they don't want to use it, that's their business. I now learned that there's more. The policymakers and politicians, I used to see them before, they are just there. But I now learned that each and every one of us has a lot of tasks that you cannot even imagine. Now, I have to go back with my group. We have to start brainstorming. As you know, we do applied research. We have to make sure that whatever we are going to engage in, involved in, something that is going to add value. And after that, we have to go out of our way to collaborate, to have networks. But the only thing I'm begging is for the policymakers and the politicians, please, to know that we are there, so that all of us will not be coming to your corridors to seek relevance or to register our presence. You people should help us and know that we are there, doing that work that you asked us to do. We continue doing the work. God help us. As from the facilitators, we are lagging behind Nigerians, Africans in particular. But I know with the zeal from this workshop, definitely we are going to make things work. We are going to carry on, and we are going to make that desired impact required from us. We are going to go out, as suggested, to industries to seek funds so that we'll be able to carry out that research and make sure that it's a quality one that will be able to inform policy. Me and my colleague from FIRO will go back to FIRO and engage our colleagues. And from what we learned, we are going to make sure that they share from it, and it's also make sure that it affects and impact and inform what the work we are going to do from now onwards. Thank you, Dr. Shegbamu. Thank you for the opportunity given to us.
So we are very, very proud of you and having to associate with you for this short while. We are very grateful because as policymakers, you know, we don't go to research laboratories nor have much work to do in the village. But what we do is that we collect information and do our strategic communications. And it is only when you are able to communicate, that is when people come alive and people are aware of what has happened. Like the journalist that actually said, the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology is already very, very much indebted to Nigerians, because most of the technologies that are needed, that we need to communicate down, we don't have language. Communication is poor, and most people do not know. And so the topic that was that caught my interest was that of strategic communications that was taken by Dr. Oronje. We are very much appreciated. It's going to aid us, the coalition of the policies that are available, and be able to do the instruction and bring it down to the level of those, the beneficiaries we are anticipating, and possibly the policy, the government, the legislature, that they will be able to get these things in the policies as communicated. Because some of the issues that we have in the country is because the people do not understand what they are talking about. And therefore, if you try to, in short, they throw your paper away. But if you are able to make the communication that is captivating and they understand you what you are talking about, it is quite easy that Nigeria will move forward. Science and technology, we are quite grateful to you, ma. Thank you very much.